It is crazy that now that Donald Trump is president, the media is finally doing pro-labor coverage, talking about how the air traffic controllers are underfunded and that they're understaffed. Typical. It took Donald Trump becoming president again for them to be like, hey, we got to do contentious coverage again. You know, classic.
We begin this hour with breaking news. Minutes ago, CNN confirmed that the FAA has indefinitely shut down the low-altitude helicopter corridor that was in use at the time of Wednesday's mid-air collision that killed 67 people. CNN has exclusively obtained 2 videos that show the crash from angles we had not seen before. They're right here on your screen. You see the Army Black Hawk helicopter on the left, apparently flying right into the path of the American Airlines plane. And here's another video capturing the moment before the impact. The helicopter is traveling over the Potomac River as the plane makes its descent to Reagan National Airport. And some experts are wondering if the Army pilot was confused by the other bright lights and didn't see the approaching plane, perhaps confusing it with another plane. Also this morning, the New York Times is reporting that the Black Hawk may have strayed off course. Quote, the military helicopter appears to have been flying too high and outside its approved flight path at the time of the crash, according to 4 people briefed on the matter, but not authorized to speak publicly, end quote. NTSB investigators have recovered both the voice and data recorders from Flight 5340.
This also is like breaking people's brains because it's a military helicopter that crashed in and that crashed into the commercial airliner. Also on top of that, it was it's in DC. Also on top of that, they were saying that they were doing like a regular training session or something like that. What is it, like a continuity plan? So all of the, I suspect, greatest, all of the greatest minds, all the top minds of conspiracy are aching to make this into a very, very big deal. I mean, I get it. If I was a conspiratorial person, I would look at the situation and go, this is it. I've hit it big. Continuity of government. Yeah. It's just like fatal training accidents happen. Oftentimes it doesn't lead to this many civilian casualties. And oftentimes it doesn't lead to this public of an affair. Right. But goddamn, dude, this is like, oof. For conspiracy talk, this is the greatest day of all time. Okay. Hey, go to census.gov. Yeah, they're taking out all of the websites one by one currently. Okay, I think at least it seems like some of them are coming back.
And hope to have a preliminary report ready within the next 30 days. CNN's Renee Marsh is at Reagan National. Renee, what are we learning about this FAA action to close the helicopter corridor?
Right, Pamela, that is the latest development here as this investigation is underway, and this is quite a significant move, the first significant aviation safety move since this mid-air collision outside of Reagan National Airport concerning the airspace surrounding the airport. Now, this airspace that has been shut down by the FAA is used not only by commercial airliners coming and going from this airport, but also military aircraft as well as law enforcement aircraft. But in light of that mid-air collision, the FAA has made the determination to close traffic to anything except for those commercial aircraft. And you talked about this other new reporting that I'm sure investigators are also going to be looking into, which is whether or not this helicopter left the proper altitude that it should have been. And if this deviation away from the altitude that it should have been at, this Black Hawk, is actually confirmed, it would certainly mean that the pilot of that Black Hawk was not following flight regulations at that time, because these helicopters are supposed to be flying at very specific altitude, 200 feet or less. And so that is certainly something that investigators will be zeroing in on when they retrieve the black box from the Black Hawk helicopter. That has not been retrieved yet, but they have retrieved the black boxes from the commercial passenger plane. They are already starting work on that. It is in their labs. They have opened it and they've begun the process of reviewing the data from those black boxes. We know that investigators say that they are confident, based on the condition of the black boxes from the commercial passenger plane, that they will be able to get data from it. Also, the NTSB is tapping into their expertise across the country. We got word today that they have tapped one of their members from Alaska. They have flown that individual in. He is a former pilot of a Black Hawk helicopter, so tapping into his expertise on that. And of course, another crucial part of this investigation, Pamela, is going to be the air traffic controllers. We do know that the NTSB at this hour, they have not yet had interviews with the air traffic controllers, so that is soon to come. Pamela?
And there was this near miss the day before the collision between an airplane and helicopter. Tell us about that.
Right, just further highlighting the complicated airspace that is the airspace around Reagan National Airport. It was just the day before this mid-air collision that another passenger plane coming in for a landing had to actually abort landing because another helicopter had come too close into its path. We have the sound from the air traffic control for that incident. Let's take a listen.
This time is a helicopter over Georgetown, northbound, 300 feet.
Hey, Tower, we had a RA, but 4514 is going around.
We had an RA with the helicopter traffic below us.
So clearly with this, the incident that is being investigated today, you have that previous incident. It has clearly become evident to investigators that this complicated airspace, something needed to be done more immediately, even though this investigation is ongoing. And Pamela, again, that headline today, the FAA shutting down this airspace around Reagan National Airport to those military helicopters.
Yeah, that's a big development. Renee Marsh, thank you. And our next guest is a former air traffic controller who personally shut down New York City's airspace on 9/11, and he may have been the first person to realize America was under attack that day. Michael McCormick joins us now. Thanks for your time. So as a former air traffic controller, what was your immediate reaction when you learned about this crash and subsequently as more evidence is coming in to process?
Pamela, just like the rest of the country, I was absolutely shocked when I learned of this mid-air collision, especially with the loss of life on board.
Conspiracy talk is booming.
You expect me to believe that a Black Hawk helicopter...
This has 945,000 likes, dude. I'm so cooked. We are so cooked. Dude, we're done. We're done. We're done. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's over. Wrap it up, dude. Yo. Is satire?
collided with an American Airlines flight in DC's most monitored and secure airspace. An American Eagle flight that was en route from Wichita, Kansas. Does anybody know about what's happening in Kansas right now? You know, a major tuberculosis, you know what outbreak? Putting that aside, I just so happened to track the helicopter's path as well before you were unable to all of a sudden. And boy, did I discover a lot of very interesting information.
Did he, what, a tuberculosis? Is that, why didn't he say tuberculosis? Can you not say tuberculosis on TikTok? Are you not allowed to say tuberculosis on TikTok? The reviews are rolling in. While obviously many of you are wondering, Hasan, are you going to be watching Ethan's content nuke? The answer is, of course not. But many people have texted me so far being like, dude, this is the dumbest thing. Why did he spend months of his entire life making this video? From what I understand, the reviews are not great. Turns out when you're not particularly smart or particularly knowledgeable about politics and you try to do a political takedown, people are going to look at it and say, yeah, you're kind of stupid, especially if your big reveal is that I am a socialist. We literally had a political podcast together and have had numerous conversations on that political podcast in front of tens of thousands of people about my political perspective. Clip chimping me into oblivion is not going to take away people's understanding of your lack of intelligence, especially as it pertains to politics. Like you did a political podcast with an anti-capitalist co-host for a year plus, and I guess you were so oblivious to how things work that in your mind you thought I was something different. I don't know. I thought you would visit the Japanese. Yeah, ironic, because I'm literally going to interview the Japanese Communist Party in 2 hours. Like that is, it's so funny. It's so funny to be like, oh, dude, this guy Hasan, I'll have you know, he's a commie. And it's like, I'm about to go interview the Japanese Communist Party in literally 2 hours. I am going to go to the headquarters of the Japanese Communist Party to interview them. Unprecedented access. What a shocking revelation. Chatters are like, God damn, you're not a right-wing Republican? What the hell is this? I'm out, brother. What the Wait, you been a commie this whole time? Do you interview Kohei Saito today? No, I think he's back from Berlin, but I don't know if I have access to Saito. It would be sick. I would really love to talk to him, but for those of you who don't know, Kohei Saito is a very famous degrowth Marxist academic from Japan. He was, I believe, in Berlin for something going on in Berlin. I forget what it was. Until recently, I think he just came back. So it would be great to interview him. But I mean, to be fair, I think we'll have our disagreements. But he knows more than I do. But, obviously he's infinitely more knowledgeable than me. What does degrowth mean? Do you like Marx? Just admit it. I would never admit that. Anyway, Ethan is wrong. I love capitalism. Literally says capitalism on my shirt. It says capitalism is voluntary. Get bread or get dead. So obviously Ethan is wrong. So I don't know where he's coming from. I'm a capitalist. I love capitalism. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the JCP interview to do this. No. I'm gonna do this the entire time. Yeah. Chotto matte. Wakarimashita. Also calls you a terrorist. Yeah, rehashing all the Palestine stuff is also pretty funny in general, because it's like, yeah, dude, we know. The podcast ended over it. Okay. He said he mainstreamed you. Yeah, he made me. Ethan Klein made me. While I was working on that garbage, you were interviewing and humanizing incarcerated firefighters and having the time of your life with your best friends in Japan. Says a lot about your respective characters. Yeah, it is what it is. From what I understand, he also is like demanding that his audience go and he's implying that I'm being funded by the Houthis, which is really funny. Yeah, they are really caked up. I suspect that he'll throw in he's being funded by the Qatari government in there too, because I watch Al Jazeera a lot. And then, just all kinds of dumb shit. He had you playing Marvel Rivals with friends in the background while he rants. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I wish I was funded by Uncle G. That would be sick. Sad song. You do not deserve to be treated that way by anyone that used to call you a friend. It's okay. Didn't Dan and you get along? I haven't been following. How does he feel about all of this? Brother, that's their boss. What do you want him to do? Like, I get it. Dude, Dan, I think recently got married too. Congratulations, by the way, on that front. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, a lot of you are like, oh, they should exhibit bravery and they should quit or whatever. Like, you're ridiculous, okay? Like, they're trying to do their best, okay, I think. I don't know. But, all things considered, they're just managing the situation to the best of their ability. It is what it is. He couldn't hurt you half as much as your stylist have if he had spent 10 years in his basement conjuring and editing. Okay, calm down. All right, I fixed it. I literally fixed it. Okay, I fixed it. Shut up. That's crazy. Don't say that. I fixed it. And it's going to grow back. It's going to take weeks, but it's going to grow back. Everybody calm down about my eyebrows. Everybody stop about my eyebrows, please. In Tokyo. But yeah, AI brows. I know they're not even regular eyebrows. They're AI brows.
Both aircraft. This is not something
Let's
that
continue
you
with this.
would expect to see within the air traffic control community. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the passengers and crew on board both aircraft, and also to the air traffic controllers of Washington National, who I'm sure are having a very difficult time right now.
My heart feels for them because I think about that moment when the collision happened, and then the air traffic controller had to see the collision and then immediately pivot and deal with all the other planes coming in and redirecting them to the other airports in the area. I mean, talk about true professionalism. But you have to wonder what they're thinking, how they're feeling right now. According to the New York Times, audio recordings reveal that the passenger jet was originally cleared by the control tower for one runway and then was cleared for another runway. What is your assessment of that? And just the timing here of the communication with the helicopter pilot just around 13 seconds before the collision happened?
That is not an unusual maneuver for Washington National Airport. The main runway is what the aircraft was initially sequenced for. The controller made the decision to circle the aircraft to runway 33, and that allows the tower to be able to get more departures off of the main primary runway while the aircraft was circling to land on the secondary runway. Unfortunately, because of that maneuver, it put American right into the flight path of the helicopter.
And a source tells CNN that one controller was working two positions at the time of the crash. I think that for the layperson, you're like, oh my gosh, what? They were working two positions covering the helicopters and the planes, but apparently that's common practice. Should it no longer be common practice?
It is a common practice in all air traffic control facilities that you open and close positions based upon the volume and complexity.
I got a new jacket.
Time. That provides maximum flexibility to handle what's going on in a control tower or in any other air traffic control facility. In this instance, it was actually a good thing because now you have one controller who's actually talking to and controlling both of the aircraft. Otherwise,
it's a brand called Color. It's a Japanese brand called Color with a K, and it's sick. I was a big E fan, watched every episode live, even though it was up for my time zone. I started watching because of Leftovers, and when that split up happened, I remained here because I saw the weird shit in E's behavior. My political views changed a lot, and I get some hope core every night watching the stream. So thank you for everything. Don't say that out loud. He's gonna call you a communist. Yeah, Swaggu jacketa. Has he watched it yet? No, I have not. Here, do you want to see the jacket? It's called Color, the brand, and the outside is literally tailor. Like the outside is like tailoring material in its design. Like this is tailoring inseam basically. Like in professional tailoring, this stuff that you see here, these details that you see here are actually supposed to be like tailoring details that you normally would see inside of a tailored jacket. But yeah, the brand basically takes it and puts it on the outside. It's very cool. It's also a really unique color that I've never seen. I've never seen before, and it sits very well. Like it's like big, bulky. Look at the back. I love the cut. Abi, mashallah, you look so good. That jacket looks so well tailored. Would turn so many heads when we go to Shisha Cafe together. Okay, stop. Just check the website. It's giving too much yay/homeless Seattle look. Okay. Your shaved beard looks better. Yes, Hasan. Thank you. I think it's just because this line is just far too. The line is far too severe. So having the line with a big beard was really cooking me a little bit. So this way, it's just like a little bit less aggressive. New face, new look. What's next? A BBL. I already have a BBL. Eyebrows on fleek today. Shout out to the Costco strike. Teamster going on strike tonight at midnight if they don't reach a temporary agreement. Anyway, let's get back to the ongoing realities of the Trump administration.
if it was a separate controller, then the two controllers would have to constantly coordinate back and forth about what is happening and what they're choosing to do.
Just taking a step back, I often think about how stressful that job is to be an air traffic controller. Just bring us into what it's like to be one and sort of the daily stress and the pressure that you're under.
It is crazy that now that Donald Trump is president, the media is finally doing pro-labor, like basically talking about, the media is basically doing like pro-labor coverage, talking about how, the air traffic controllers are underfunded and that they're understaffed. Typical. It took Donald Trump becoming president again for them to be like, hey, we got to do contentious coverage again. Classic. Now, of course, I've long maintained the position that they are not going to be as contentious as they should be. Okay. Just so you understand, like you're going to get very limited amount of contentious coverage out of these guys. If your expectation is that they're going to be like really aggressive, really going out of their way and like going after the Trump administration for all its faults and failures, I don't think they're going to do that. But there are certain instances where they will shine a light on what is the real issue. This is one of those instances, it seems, where they're just like, yeah, Donald Trump's immediate blame on DEI initiatives is perhaps not the reason why this happened. And it's, I think, a very glaringly obvious instance. So Trump exclusively blaming that or hitting that button will most likely end up backfiring. You'll also see like regulatory agencies aggressively go after Trump as they, I don't know. It's just, I still suspect that, I still personally suspect that the DEI button is going to be overused. And yes, the dumbest of Trump supporters are going to be on board with it always and forever. But slowly but surely, it will eat away at the number of people that truly believe it, especially if it like is a traumatizing incident that impacts many Americans, right? You can't say 9/11 happened because of DEI, for example. Now, this wasn't 9/11, but it's still a very high-profile incident that is super traumatic. So if you look at that, situation and go, oh, it must be DEI, you're like, I don't know about that. Anyway, let's continue.
I mean, I can't even imagine what they're feeling right now. And you heard President Trump talking about it yesterday, not to make this.
They're overusing it too hard. It doesn't have to be. But don't you think by that time it'll be replaced by something else? BLM, CRT? Yes, there is a likelihood of that too. But now they're in power. It's a little bit different when you're in power. Because think about it this way. The CRT stuff, the woke stuff, all this was inventions when you're out of power. But when you're in power, you are still ultimately responsible for things that are happening under your watch. So when you're in power and you complain about DEI, people are inevitably going to think, okay, it's kind of your fault, and I feel like you're deflecting blame away, and I've heard the story too many times, so now I'm starting to think maybe you're just kind of using it. Like in other instances, I still agree with you, but in this one, it seems like, maybe not the case. But yeah, as things get worse and worse year over year, as conditions worsen across the board, oftentimes due to underfunding, understaffing, the same exact problems that persist because everyone is interested in corner cutting. Inevitably, you will see more accidents like this happening, more devastating impacts of climate change, and they will constantly resort to DEI over and over and over again.
But he's blaming DEI policies without having the evidence to support that. And I just want you to tell us from your experience what it's like.
I believe the air traffic control profession is what is known as a meritocracy. And that is only the best can go through the rigorous selection program, the screening program, and then the 1 to 5 year training program prior to receiving their certification. So having gone through that, we are very proud to have professionals who are competent and dedicated to providing the safest service in the world. And as a controller, I think there's nothing more gratifying, more fulfilling than being able to provide that service to our country. And there is no stress. When you enjoy your profession, you do not feel the stress. You deal with the responsibilities. You compartmentalize, as in the case of when this accident occurred, the controller immediately moved to where their priorities were. And that is air traffic control.
It's just remarkable. It really is. Michael McCormick, thank you.
So I want to bring in Elizabeth McCormick, a former Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and Cedric Layton, CNN military analyst and retired Air Force colonel. Elizabeth, let me start with you. An Army pilot who has flown Black Hawk helicopters like you in this area around Reagan National Airport told CNN's reporter Haley Pritzky that the Army's flights are routinely planned down to the tiniest detail. This pilot said that based on the risk, the briefer will approve or disapprove parts of the flight plan. That assessment is then run by the unit's commander, then submitted to the FAA. So if it went through all of those levels, the question, of course, is just how could this have happened?
Well, I believe there's three things that happened. If it had just been one, it wouldn't have been an issue, but three different things happened. First of all, they only had a crew of 3. And if you're flying a visual flight plan in a crowded airspace like this, they really should have had 2 crew chiefs in the back of the helicopter to clear each side, as the pilots only have visibility from straight ahead 12 to 3 o'clock, or 12 from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So you only have visibility of the front 180 degrees. Your crew chiefs clear the back. If you only have 1 crew chief, how much can you clear? So I think that was a major issue.
So
and
that's
so
interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep going. Well, so are you saying instead of
you getting worried about the content, Nuke? Look a little worried there, boy. Yeah. I can't believe another person basically compiled Reddit posts from Epstein's subreddit into a shittily edited 2-hour video. Why are you filtering good info? What are you saying? I really don't want to be annoying. I have new info. Everyone that says I really don't want to be annoying is actually being annoying. How can I get a hold of you? I'm knowledgeable about Army aviation. I've been trying to reach out. I have verification. Please check log. I can answer aviation questions you have. I'm going to spam because the usual ways to reach you don't work. Can I DM you? I have important info. What's up? It's the eyebrows that make you look shocked. Yeah, the eyebrows are changing my reaction. You even left the country because they're deleting any comments that are pro Hasan. Yeah, of course they are, dude. What are you talking about? Like, obviously, the number one thing that Ethan could never do is leave comments hidden. And he knew that people were going to watch it and be like, this shit sucks, dog. You're stupid. So he probably hired people to literally clamp on every single pro Hasan comment instantly as soon as it comes in so that he can make it seem like he is not actually censoring people while simultaneously doing just that. You know, I think the content in and of itself will speak for itself. You know, did you buy new clothes or pay for hotel cleaning? I bought 1 new pair of pants and a jacket. Things fit me now. So that's actually pretty awesome. He called Kaya a designer dog. Yeah, maybe because I actually train my dog and not let her piss and shit and bark all the goddamn time. No disrespect, but that's crazy. Coming after Kaya, that's crazy. Where'd you get bigger clothes? She's just well trained, you know? He said Kaya was very expensive. Yeah, very. $1 million. DDG fans must be really sad that there are no Epstein-like claims. Okay. I don't want to sidestep here. Okay, it's hard. It's hard not to, because it's like it's begging for my attention. But I'm not going to entertain this meltdown. Let's continue. Remember when you also paid for everyone's adoption fees at that shelter? Yeah, I did. But hey, dude, I bet I'm assuming that didn't make its way into the content video, the content nuke, nor did a million other things that I've done, because the angle here, of course, is that I'm a bad guy and a scary communist, and also, dare I say, pro-Palestine. pro-Palestine, not anti-Semitic, very much against anti-Semitism, but also, yeah, I donated, but in a nefarious way. I donated. Every other streamer I like is watching the new. We can't lose you too. Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems for slop tubers in general is that they think they can tackle political commentary without like doing any reading whatsoever by simply attacking someone who does do political commentary, right? On the basis of like Reddit comments that they've compiled into a video and that they've like edited together. And the issue is you don't know what you're talking about. Like you have no idea. You thought Roe v. Wade was the gay one, you know, a week ago. Like you're not like a serious person. And that's precisely the reason why it'll end up having a bunch of stuff, Red Scare shit, at a time when Donald Trump is the president and is just like ripping through the country. Dudes are hitting Sig Heils, okay? The wealthiest guy on the planet is hitting a Sig Heil. The wealthiest guy on the planet is hitting a Sig Heil on a prominent stage, okay? And you're like, you know who's really at fault here? Fucking commies. the powerful communists. It's a McCarthyism done by someone too stupid to navigate anything he's talking about, and he just ends up looking even dumber. GG's. It has an unironic American patriotism montage. This video is for no one. Yeah. It's just sad. I don't know why he just won't go back to like fun drama or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's just like desperately wants to be taken seriously in this field, and it's just not going to happen. Okay.
Of a crew of 3, it should have been a crew of 4. How many people should have been on the helicopter? And then please continue with your other 2 points.
Yes, so 3 is a minimum crew for a Black Hawk helicopter. In my opinion, when you're going into visual flight mode in a crowded airspace like this, it should be a minimum of 4. So you have a pilot on each side for visibility. That's the first one. The second one is whether
he said his main goal is that you do not end up mainstream. Yeah, I know. It's because it's Epstein-y. It's because it's a Epstein-y take. The idea that like I'm far too scary, far too dangerous to be made mainstream. So like you know, you gotta go and warn like New York Times journalists or whatever, not realizing that many of those people who write those articles are infinitely more intelligent than you and the fans dumb enough to be duped into thinking that I'm a clear and present danger under Trump's current administration. Okay? That's the issue is this is where a lot of Redditors that have done brigades against me actually hit a wall and they can't comprehend it. Okay? They will go and flood the market with like Hasan is so bad clips, right? Not realizing that a lot of those journalists that either write articles about me or write articles about anything, you know, media or political commentary across the board, are a little bit more knowledgeable about the shit that they're talking about than you know, Epstein's brigaders or Ethan's ramblings. Okay? It's ridiculous. That's it. Wait, why did Fossabot? Oh, that's so funny. This was a funny take, but Fossabot timed you out. Just so you know, Squeaks is not watching and is not interested in the nuke video. I don't even give a shit if people watch a nuke video, brother. I think it speaks for itself that more people are dunking on it and clowning on it than taking it seriously. Like, oh my God, this is the most serious thing. Partially because, you know, a bunch of people have made this exact same video a million times over, and it's almost always the exact same principle. It's always the same shit, which is Hasan bad, Hasan rich, Hasan socialist scary, Hasan loves China, Hasan denies the cultural genocide and mass surveillance that the Chinese government did to Uyghurs in Xinjiang, even though I have been very critical of that a million times over. But it's conducted by a person who doesn't know anything and is simply, you know, rehashing Reddit comments. So that's it. And then clip chimp a couple times on politically charged subjects such as Israel-Palestine, where he'll say, He'll say something along the lines of like, "Oh, he is a rape apologist or something." I'm not. I guess the Israeli prosecutors are rape apologists rather than myself. And yeah, that's it. And he's a scary guy. Seems like almost all of it is clip chimps sliced together to make you look as worse as possible. Yeah, I just don't think it's like. I think for you guys, many of you already know my position. He tried to claim the AP article you referred to on the Xinjiang didn't exist. See, that's what I mean. It's like really bad research in general, right? It's just really bad research in general. It's no interest in research whatsoever. That's it. And I've been live this entire time. So you know my ass has not watched this quote unquote content nuke. So I'm like, this is my suspicion of what he did. And the reason why this is my suspicion on what he did is probably correct is because this is not a new video. So many people have done this bad faith nonsense a million times over. And it's crazy that it's like coming from a dude that I knew personally. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's a very sad state of affairs that like even someone that you know personally over a disagreement over genocide can just like completely rewrite his brain almost. It's embarrassing. And no, it's not embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for him. Maybe you're a poor judge of character. People say this all the time. I disagree. I will always assume the best in others. I don't care. I'm never going to give up on that mentality. I'm not going to be more of a cynical human being across the board. They always bring up the brothel too. Oh yeah, no, not bad research. He's bad faced. Very obvious. His clips that cut right at the moment where you say something that could destroy his argument. So far in the video, he's just posting your takes and relying on them already being against your position. He doesn't really do anything to disprove your takes. Yeah. You've spent so many hours elaborating on your position that he would just have to critique you live to keep up. You've already flooded the internet with your explained opinions. He can't reframe you no matter how he tries. Well, there is one thing he can do, which is hope that no one has ever seen me or has only tangentially heard about me or has only had a bad opinion on me. He's farming the haters. He's farming the haters because he's become the hater. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs in general. He literally said he can finally get his life back after this video comes out. It's sad. I know. I mean, I want him to be happy, by the way. I want him to be happy. So I think he's never going to listen to me, so it doesn't matter. I don't think he respects me. Something I texted him directly. I was like, listen, I don't think you respect me, but I think you respect, I think you respect Sam Cedar. You should probably have a conversation with him about this. He never replied to that. But I want him to be a happy person, and I don't think this is going to lead to a level of happiness, especially if it backfires. You know? The haters are going to say this sentiment is fake, but you said this for months. Yeah. Not only have I said this for months, I was definitely a lot more charitable to him.
They were on night vision goggles at that time or not, it is a very cluttered airspace with a lot of lighting and the lights reflecting on the river. And so with that, it's easy to kind of get a little disoriented as far as the height. They were supposed to be at 200 feet.
He's asking people to mass email journalists that cover you in the mainstream. It's the same Dan Saltman shit. Yeah, I'm glad that he took he carried over the torch from Epstein's community. All right, we're done. Oh God, it's so hard. It's so hard for me not to talk about this. I really want to, but
which is the helicopter routing in that area, and it wouldn't have been a conflict, but they were not at 200 feet. Obviously, reportedly the incident happened at around 350 to 400 feet as the airliner was descending. So that they were at the wrong height. So that's a pilot error. The first would be a policy error or choice. And then the third is air traffic control said, do you have the CRJ in sight? Well, there were two aircraft in their field of view, and actually only one was really obvious to them. And that was if you watch the video, the aircraft taking off in the foreground is probably the one they were facing, the pilots were facing, and said, yeah, I got it. The air traffic control should have said, do you have the aircraft at 5 o'clock? So they were looking at the rear. If they had done that, the Black Hawk is maneuverable. The Black Hawk could have moved out of the way quickly. They can move on a dime and make that happen. And it wouldn't have happened.
Cedric, that's one of the most informed explanations I've heard of what possibly went wrong that I've yet. Thank you so much for that. Do you agree with what you had to say?
Yeah, basically I do, Jake. Elizabeth has obviously a wealth of experience with this, and when you look at the way in which the crews are set up for Black Hawk helicopters, that's a critical thing. You know, you've got the mission planning piece that you mentioned, and as Elizabeth was explaining, there are also so many concerns that they have to really look at, including not only the weather and not only air traffic considerations, but also what kind of things they can expect in terms of topographical features and things like that. And that should be a given. But there are things that change sometimes. Sometimes there's new construction and things like that. And so they have to have as much meticulous planning as possible. And if that planning isn't taken into consideration and isn't done in the right way, then of course there could be significant consequences. Not saying that that happened here, of course.
Right. We don't know. We're just trying to make informed observations about what possibly happened. Obviously, Elizabeth says that the Black Hawk was supposed to be at 200 feet, and it was actually at 350. Right. Is that easy? Is that a mistake that's easy to make to be at 350 when you think you're at 200 feet?
Not normally, because the altimeter, which measures your altitude, is supposed.
I don't understand what's going on, man. I still don't fully understand how this happened. It's been what, 2 days of nonstop coverage of this, and I genuinely don't understand. I mean, I guess like accidents happen. Right? Like, and I guess that's the point, that this is just a simple accident. It just seems so insane because once again, a plane crashing into a helicopter in the air is a very, very, very unique instance. Like it's just a mid-air collision is, I guess, like I'd say more commonplace on military bases, I guess, when they're flying around and stuff. But like you got a Black Hawk helicopter crashing into a commercial airliner. Like that is crazy. It is not a common incident. It's been over 16 years since the last aviation disaster. It's not like it's common. Like this is, I just watched a video with the guy. He explains it perfectly. It's the Black Hawk crew's fault 100%. I mean, that's what I think as well. Like they should not have been there, I assume. I genuinely think it's super weird that the heli crashed into the plane, which makes me think it's a genuine accident, because why would they do that on purpose? No, the helicopter didn't crash into the plane, chatter. The plane still crashed into the helicopter. That's not how speeds work. A helicopter can only crash into a plane if a plane has already landed and is parked. It is engaged in a taxi process. The plane is much faster than the helicopter. Even when it is literally landing, a plane it is moving significantly faster than the helicopter. No, the heli did hit the plane. No, the plane is still... I'm not saying the plane directed itself in the direction of the helicopter. I'm simply stating that the helicopter didn't redirect itself to go and specifically hit the plane. That's what it looks like on camera. But what ended up happening is, in this mid-air collision, what ended up happening is the plane is landing and the helicopter happened to be in the same exact, like, right place, right time, or rather wrong place, wrong time. When people say the helicopter actually directed itself into the direction of the plane and like hit the plane, you're explaining something that is impossible as far as I understand. I'm not Mr. Physics here. I'm not a particularly intelligent person, but a helicopter does not have the capacity to chase after a plane and then hit it. Okay? You can only be in its direction. Even when a plane is landing, it's still fast in the top speed of a Black Hawk helicopter. Do you understand? It's the same like saying grandma crashed on the bus. Yeah, the helicopter moved itself into the path of the plane. No intentionality, of course, but the helicopter couldn't have hit the plane. That's what I'm saying. That is my point. Exactly. When people say the helicopter hit the plane, you make it... I think some people misunderstand it. Like, they think that the helicopter basically saw a plane coming and then just, like, moved in its vicinity and beamed it from the side or something. You know what I mean? Like, hit it. Like, like a cop car or something, you know, like when cop cars will what is it called, like hook in pursuit, where they will like deliberately ram themselves into a car that they're pursuing, like an interception. Yeah, pit them. Like that's not what happened, right? They're not doing, like, the helicopter wasn't doing like a successful pit maneuver or something into the plane. The helicopter was in the Blackhawks have a top speed of 170 miles per hour. The CRJ on approach goes 140 miles per hour. Not that the Blackhawk hit it. It just got in the path. Wait, Blackhawks? I thought Blackhawks have a top speed of 100 miles an hour, not 170 miles an hour. Anyway, regardless, doing a maneuver, 100 is slow as dude. I don't think that there are pilots that are that capable. Okay, like being able to use a helicopter and redirect it in a way where you are deliberately hitting a plane that is landing is insane. Like these are fairly high speeds that we're talking about. Like that's not, you're not going to be able to hit 170 miles and then maneuver your helicopter in the direction of a plane regardless. All right, let's continue. So let's watch this guy. He's got freaking 3 million views in like a day. So I want to hear what he has to say. He's got the captain's jacket on. You know, let's see what's going on here.
Tonight, I'm able to secure the actual audio from the incident over the Potomac last night. Let's listen in together.
Normally, I wouldn't watch something like this, but since it's got 3 million views and we are in Trump's America, and things like this seem more valid and more important and more real than watching CNN. So we're gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do. Let's go.
79 contact so far today. Okay.
I gotta pee again.
130 for the final.
You're going to see a back and forth now between Reagan Tower and the various aircraft that they have lined up on approach into the airport. This happened at about 8:46 p.m. Last evening, and you can see there's several airplanes lined up. That's typical coming in about that time of night at Reagan. They're talking to American Airlines 3130. Which I think is number 2 for the runway. They're telling them to slow down to their final approach speed because they're separating everybody on the way in. It's going to turn out that American 3130 is a key player in what happens here.
Well, American 3130. Pat 25, traffic just off the Wilson Bridge is CRJ.
Pat 25 is the helicopter that ran into the CRJ 700. It was a PSA flight. The flight number is 5342. It would go under the call sign Blue Streak 5342. You don't ever hear them talking to tower. They've already been cleared to land on runway 33. So they would come in on an approach on runway 1, and then they would kind of circle the land on runway 33. It's a little shorter runway, but they take some of the regional jets and they put them on that runway. Pat 25 is the Black Hawk helicopter that is just south of the Woodrow Bridge. And they've just taken off. They're airborne. The tower is saying to them, there's traffic. It's a CRJ. It's at 1,200 feet lined up for runway 33. Do you have that traffic? Pat 25 is going to call back and say yes.
It's 1,200 feet for runway 33.
Okay, we got aviation heads in here. Aviation heads are not exactly a fan of this guy, it seems. Just FYI, this guy's a populist, not factual. Aviation people dislike him for populism and misleading facts for his own ego. I like that. I like that there's like aviation drama surrounding. God, the internet is so amazing. Breaking news: another plane just crashed in Philly into Roosevelt Mall. Everything's on fire. Wait, what? No, this would have never happened if we let Austin Show do the piloting. I agree.
Pat 25 says, has the traffic in sight, request visual separation. What that means is that they're going to take responsibility for
pilot debrief is better.
American Airlines flight 5342 was
but this says 1/10 of the views.
Away from landing when a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter crashed into them and both aircraft plummeted into the frozen Potomac River below. This is just an absolutely heartbreaking tragedy, and I know there are a lot of unanswered questions. Now, even though the investigation has just begun, I think it's very important to explain the facts in order to...
Dude, Why are there so many aviation enjoyers in this community? Oh, well, I know the answer to that question. I understand what's going on here. That's why I'm like, why do you guys have your favorite aviation YouTuber? There have been 11 different YouTube links that have just been going around in the chat since I began this journey of people being like, well, this aviation YouTuber has, a lot of problematic things. I'm like, I didn't even know this side of YouTube existed, bro. How the are you guys this knowledgeable on not just aviation, but also aviation YouTube in particular and all the drama? And then I realized it's autism. It's always autism. God forbid there's a train derailment. Okay, all I'm saying is trains are awesome. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Planes are cool too. Don't get me wrong. But like, at least I don't have like a favorite train YouTuber. You know what I mean? How come you like trains so much? I don't know. Because it is a marvel that we have created an efficient and like less costly on the environment method of travel and logistics that we still use to this day in order to supply chlorine, for example, for your local water supply. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was just something you could cast aside. How about you do all of that manufacturing and logistics on an airplane? Okay. You can't. You understand me? We're talking tons and tons and tons of chemicals being shipped around in a web of railways all around the nation. Can you imagine how bountiful commerce would look like if we also had a high-speed rail system in this goddamn country? Don't get me started on high-speed rail, okay? All I'm stating is trains are amazing, okay? They are a luxurious form of travel that is cost-effective, that is less costly on the environment in general. And the fact that we invented this years and years and years ago, okay, damn near centuries ago, and we still use it, shows its resilience, okay? The very fact that America does not take advantage of the train technology that is out there is alarming, okay? It is a damning indication of America's decline as the empire that once stood atop the entire globe. Think about that. China's got maglev trains that are going 400 kilometers, like almost plane speeds now they're hitting with trains on the ground. Beautiful. It's an incredible thing. It's marvelous. And the fact that we're not using this, the fact that we're not even interested in any kind of technological development on this in this sphere is very frustrating. Mister, I don't have a favorite train guy.
Anyway,
what is this?
Oh, wait. Is this what I think it is?
Okay.
This is like...
Okay, dude. Calm down. All right. Yeah, he's great. He loves trains. Okay. Shut up. That's just one video, man. That's just one video. Okay. That's one train. I mean, he's a TikTok train guy too. It's not like that serious. I used to think this was a bit, but I'm growing unsure. What? My love for trains? No, it's not a bit. I do think... I mean, I think trains are very cool. I think planes are very cool too. I just don't have a train guy, contrary to what that guy was talking about. Law, are you blushing? No, I'm just pretty. I'm just pretty now. That's what it is. This is the eyebrows and the close shave. It's just making me look a certain type of way, you know? Have I gotten a conductor card yet? What? Excuse me. Of course, I've gotten 2. Okay. Yes. Of course, I've gotten a conductor card. I've gotten 2. What a question. Next one. Okay. Yeah. Next question. You're hot, not pretty? No, I'm pretty now. I'm pretty Flacco. Trains too easy of a terrorist target? Ain't no 9/11 happen on trains, big dog. What are you talking about? I think foamer's in. Okay. Straight up. Trains 1, planes 0 on that front. The fuck? This is the propaganda you know who is warning the mainstream media about? I know. I'm a huge public transit slut too. It's fine. It's totally fine. The haters stand strong. Yeah, no, it's incredible. Japanese public transit is so amazing. It really is. 1977 Dutch train hijacking. Okay, all I'm saying is what was the most 9/11 unironically is one of the most impactful world-changing acts of terror, okay? And that happened with a plane. It could not happen with a train. You couldn't do that. They need to bring those Japanese trains to LA. Oh, wait, the Philadelphia plane crash is real? Plane crash in Northeast Philadelphia leaves multiple houses on fire, causes explosion. What the is going? Oh my God! 2 people were aboard the plane. Oh, it's like a Cessna probably, right? If it's a small plane. Okay, that doesn't count. Like this isn't the same thing. Small planes crash all the time. Not to say it's not impactful, but it's a little bit different than a Black Hawk colliding midair with a commercial airliner that was about to land. Austin correctly calls this out all the time. This is when certain incidents occur, okay, mainstream media will start hyper focusing on that. We saw an example of this, not to go back to trains again, but we saw examples of this initially with the Palestine, Ohio derailment, right? Train derailments are a very commonplace thing that happens approximately 1,000 times a year, 3 times a day, okay? And now they can be very consequential train derailments, or they can simply be, like baby derailments, right? It ranges. It varies greatly, okay? But when the Palestine, Ohio thing happened, and there was a lot of interest in this sort of thing, the media started covering all matter of different derailments that they normally would not cover, okay? Gross. You're a normie that uses Cessna as a name for any small plane. I mean, it could be a different kind of small plane. I'm just saying it's like Cessna is the most common, like that everybody knows. But basically, this is in that same vein where Austin also correctly calls this out. Like any sort of minor mishap in air travel will get elevated and will be talked about because there's a lot of interest in that sort of coverage. Anyway, so it's just algorithm farming, but for the old media, kind of. Did you see Bryce Mitchell's comments on Hitler? I did. I saw an article talking about it. I didn't see I didn't see everything, but it is yet another indication that things are getting getting weird. Okay. Things are getting very weird and very Hitlerian, but like it's not that weird that a brain broken UFC fighter would have insane and horrifying takes like this. You know what I mean? It's just, but it only happens because these guys feel emboldened though. I mean, that's it. Like he's not the first guy. He's not the first like fighter guy that has had takes like this, and he won't be the last. But I think the reason why more people feel like comfortable coming out with attitudes like this is because of feeling emboldened by the likes of Elon Musk and everybody else. Even Dana White coming out against it. You know it was bad. Yeah, no shit. Is this the guy that took a power drill through his nutsack? Isn't this the guy who called out Elon like a week ago before this? Said Elon's a rat and should share his wealth. Oh, this is that same guy? Yeah, I remember looking into it because I remember hearing him like talk shit about Elon Musk at a press conference, and immediately I was like, wait a minute, this dude is like, I don't think this dude is like, I mean, he's spitting here, but let me look into it a little bit, and I think he's like an anti-vaxxer and shit too. He's like excuse me, elaborate, you can't say that and move on. This is the guy who's like, I'm having a child because I want to improve the birth rates. Right? That's the guy, right? We've watched a video of him wearing goofy ass glasses talking about how he's going to homeschool his child. He said he's going to homeschool his child and that his child is not going to be vaccinated.
You've been
this was he carries a Bible into the ring. The drill, Hasan, the drill, elaborate. The drill thing? I don't know the exact details of the drill thing. He is a insane person, okay? Bryce Mitchell's the dumbest person you know, dumbest person they know. With everyone up in arms, let's take a breather, and remind ourselves that Bryce Mitchell should never be taken seriously. So here it is.
Martial artist also weighed in 146 pounds. In 17.
He's holding up a Bible, screaming here. Let's start off. Here's the time on Ultimate Fighter that Bryce Mitchell uncovered a revelation about soap. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do this. I'm moving on from the plane stuff for now. Okay. I do want to cover this story. Okay.